Hello, this is Catherine from Accelerated Reader Reading Books for You. Today I will be reading Chapter 9 from The Bucket by DJ Cattrell, illustrated by Mei Lee. Before I begin reading, I would like to give a big thanks to the author for sending me this book to read on my channel. In the description below, I've included links where you may find and purchase this book. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Chapter 9. Another rock lifted itself up on seemingly hundreds of legs and scuttled off further and deeper into the cave. Several other rocks lifted themselves up and scuttled off after it. Robin watched them in fascination. What the hell are those things? Rachel was in no mood to answer his questions. It doesn't matter. Let's just go. She started walking deeper into the cave tunnel. The floor of the cave was rough and a little rocky in places, and she noticed that someone had cleared a path some time ago, but it looked as if it had not been used for years. The walls had deep score marks in them, and some looked as if they had been made quite recently. Every 40 feet or so, there were small recesses in the cave walls that would be just big enough to stand 2 people in. Whatever effect Brian's green breath had been on Robin, it certainly hadn't stopped him from being an idiot. But it had made him seem to walk faster now. Instead of idling behind her, moaning about things, he had walked quite far ahead of her. The tunnel curved round to the left, and she began to lose sight of him. She walked along, letting her mind wander, and began thinking about what her sister was like. If she was anything like Robin, Rachel would leave them both here. She hoped. Robin's father was nothing like Robin. Robin was now out of sight, but not out of earshot. Rachel heard him begin to shout, "Yodelay-ee-oo!" The cave echoed back at him. Then he did it again. What is wrong with that boy? She thought. There could be anything down here. She started to run after him to shut him up, and just caught sight of him when the rumbling began. She called to Robin, "Shut up! We don't know what lives down here." The rumbling became louder, and the cave was becoming darker. Rachel looked behind her at the way they had come. Something else other than them was headed this way fast, and it was big, really big. She shouted to Robin, "Hide!" This time Robin did as he was told and jumped into a recess that was next to him. "What's that noise?" Rachel didn't have time to answer as she was running to the next recess. She made it and banged against the wall as she leapt in. Whatever it was humming a deep tune. It was a child's tune that she had heard before but couldn't place. Something about rice balls came to mind. Robin was in a recess on the other side of the cave, but she only caught a glimpse of him as a huge, scaly flying snake shot through the tunnel. The noise was deafening. The beast was nearly the size of a train. Its spine scored along the cave wall as it turned the corner and sparks flew. Rachel watched, stunned at the sheer size of the thing as it flew past. She couldn't figure out how it was flying. It had no wings. It was beautiful, though. It was colored deep red and bronze. Finally, its tail flew past them, and within seconds it was gone. everything went quiet again. Rachel exhaled, realizing that she had been holding her breath. Robin practically fell out of the recess he had been hiding in. Wow, that was amazing! Rachel had half expected Robin to be crying and demanding to go home, but he didn't seem scared at all. I don't know why, but I think we should follow it. Come on! Both of them set off at a brisk walk. They had only been walking for 10 minutes or so when something small flew through the air and smacked Robin straight in the eye. He yelped. Then another missile hit him in the arm, and then another. We're under attack again. He wiped his eye as yet another missile caught him on the back of the head, and then all went quiet. Rachel looked around but couldn't see anything. But she did hear a sort of sniggering coming from somewhere. It was the same sniggering that they had heard in the meadow, and that she had heard in her lounge. Robin whirled around. What was that? Another missile hit him in the neck. Look, whoever you are, will you stop doing that? It's not funny. Rachel looked around and noticed holes around the cave, walls just big enough for a very small child to climb through. As she was looking at one hole, a missile shot out and hit Robin again, followed by the same sniggering. It seemed that whatever was firing at him was hiding behind the cave walls and moving from hole to hole. She watched and waited and guessed which hole would be next. Another missile. Robin was becoming really annoyed. Bloody hell! If I get hold of whatever is doing this, I'll kill it. Rachel stood with her back to one of the holes, guessing that the next missile would come from there. She was right. Another missile flew out and hit Robin smack between the eyes. But this time she thrust her hand into the hole and grabbed something bony. She jerked backwards, pulling what appeared to be a small, skinny old man made entirely from leather out of the hole. Got you, she said. He seemed to be all elbows and knees, with pointy furry ears, and had a huge grin on his face. He was no bigger than a cat. His hair was sort of feathery. Rachel had to kneel just so that the little man's feet could touch the ground. Give him to me. I'm going to pulverize him. Robin started forward, but Rachel stopped him. Just wait a minute. Learn to ask questions, Robin, and you might learn about what is going on around you. Rachel kept a firm hold of the little man despite him smelling very bad and wriggling furiously. Just stand still. I'm not trying to hurt you. The old man went limp and dropped to the floor with Rachel still holding onto him. He looked up at her with wide, sad eyes. Why were you firing things at Robin? The little man looked up at Robin. Not things, he said. Bat poo. Ha ha ha. Robin made a sort of gurgling sound at the back of his throat and clenched his fists. Rachel continued. Okay, why were you firing bat poo at Robin? The old man laughed. He human, he stupid, all human men stupid. Rachel resisted the temptation to agree. Would you be kind enough to tell me your name, please? The old man smiled at her. You speak nice. I tell you. You, not stupid like man. Name, Kobolos. Robin was incensed. Firstly, you little spider, I am not stupid. And secondly, I'm going to rip your head off." Robin lunged forward to grab Cobulus, but the sprite slipped out of Rachel's hand and ran around the back of Robin. With amazing speed, he climbed up Robin's back, bit his ear, and pinched his nose. He then jumped off Robin's shoulder onto Rachel and screamed in mockery, "Save Cobulus! Scary man going to kill me!" Then he turned serious. "Cubaloy, come before man in other world. Man slow, Cubaloy quick, Cobaloy clever." And then he chuckled loudly. Robin was beside himself with rage and held onto his ear, bending forwards in pain. Rachel was beginning to like Cobulus. Rachel thought quickly about that. "There are more of you then?" Cobulus grinned. "Cobulus have family, good family." She turned her mind back to their situation. "Where does this tunnel go, Cobulus?" Cobulus stroked Rachel's hair. "Nice hair. Your sister have curly hair." Rachel was suddenly thrown off guard. "You know my sister?" Cobulus laughed. "Cobulus knows Sarah Adventurer. Sarah Adventurer beat Cobulus at touch game. Sarah friend to Cobulus." Rachel asked, "Will this tunnel take me to Sarah?" Cobulus jumped down from Rachel's shoulder, ran round the back of Robin, and kicked him in the back of the knee. Robin fell over and grunted in more pain as he hit the floor, and Cobulus jabbed him hard in the ribs. "Please make him stop." Cobulus laughed again. Cobulus play touch game with Rachel. Rachel win. Cobulus tell. Rachel thought for a moment, whilst Cobulus continued to torture Robin. His groans and ouches echoed through the tunnel. "What happens if I lose, Cobulus?" The sprite stopped and grinned again. "Cobulus get to keep stupid Robin man as pet." Robin groaned on the floor. "Please, no! Please make the evil monkey man go away." Cobulus dug his fingers into Robin's shoulder. "Okay, Cobulus, but until the game is over, you must agree to leave Robin man alone, all right?" Cobulus flicked Robin's ear, causing him to cry out in serious pain, but more in utter frustration. "Deal, Rachel Intrepid," said Cobulus, grinning. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for Chapter 10. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the description below, I've included links where you may find and purchase this book.